So, welcome back, guys. If you see this, welcome. Um, yeah, just taking a little stroll today, blowing off some steam. Steam in the sense that things are boiling up inside, and sometimes you gotta just release that pressure. And this is a nice way to do that. Try to relax and just settle things, um, both physically and mentally. So today, I've been sort of having this message like come up repeatedly in my mind over the last probably about a week or so. Um, I find that there's this problem, like a very common problem, um, that I could see getting in the way for people, and I think it's probably gotten in the way for me too. Um, this idea that you need someone else to show you the way. Now, of course, like teachers are very important, and so like I'm not trying to discount the benefits of having a guide, but how do you think those guides or those teachers got to the place that they are? Um, you know, they go into whatever preparation and education you need to become a teacher or a guru, or maybe you can sort of fake it till you make it. But once you have the credentials, then you get to start teaching. And I think a lot of teachers would probably agree that it's not until you actually get some years under your belt teaching that you can start to help people and like build a better understanding of what you bring to the table. And so while experience is necessary, the understanding is developed yourself. Like you can basically what I'm saying is all of the wisdom that you could ever seek to learn is within you. It exists within you. All of the books in my little book collection, while they have plenty to offer and different perspectives, the wisdom, the knowledge, I really truly believe it exists within us. And by believing that, you sort of empower yourself, and this feeling of like the lacking of information does it's not holding you back. This perspective, just this general, like fundamental perspective that I need to go out and even like go watch my videos. I I might help like sort of point you in the right direction, but my video alone isn't going to change anyone's life. They also have to bring themselves to the table and take something that I say in the video and reflect upon it, sort of assimilate it into their life if it resonates. Um, if something doesn't resonate, that's a good example. Like that's a way of knowing that you don't have what you're looking for yet. Um, or you're not like fully at peace. So sometimes people have a method that works for them and they use it for a very long time, but life changes and they change, and they find that the method that they were leaning on for so long isn't serving the same purpose anymore. And that's not like that can be a scary experience, but that just means that you still have room to grow. And part of what's been troubling me lately, and I came into this little live stream with some type of idea of what I would say, but I'm just going to be rambling. So hang in there. Part of what I want to encourage people to think about is this idea that you are sitting on a throne of gold. You have everything available to you that you need. What is that exactly? It essentially it's your mind. Maybe it's your heart, intuition. There's probably a lot of different names for it or places to point to where it might be, but there's something in us that is showing us the way. And what gets in the way of that, I'm going to call it intuition, is there's a lot of traps. It's hard to sort of like give the endless amount of traps one single label. But I guess I almost would say like attachment might be the thing that gets in the way. Clinging on to things and not letting them happen naturally. So trying to control things. Um, One thing that you'll recognize, and I haven't really had any pushback when I say this, is the universal law of impermanence. Impermanence does not discriminate. It touches all things. Maybe there's some like concepts, I guess, like this sort of concept of truth, like that won't change. Um, but the physical, material plane. I'm gonna walk a little bit. I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes. This material plane is in a constant state of change for you, and because of this process, because of the constant change from one moment to the next, there is a oh, hey, I really appreciate that, Amy W. Um, Thanks for the encouragement. I really appreciate it. Um, this habit forms from the moment you're born, where you you experience these changing sensations within you, and all of these sensations fall under two categories. I've talked about this before on the channel. Um, Pleasure or pain. And then there's sort of this gray area in the middle that I call the mundane. So pleasure, pain, and the mundane. Our pleasurable experiences are finite. They will eventually slip away into something new. Our painful experiences are just the same. And what we do when the pleasure comes is we cling on to it. And when the pain comes, we repel away from it. So we avoid pain and we cling on to pleasure. And you could also say we cling on to life and we avoid death in a more, uh, in a broader sense. But this process of, sensation arrives. Oh, what's up? Lim Sweat. How you doing, Doug? I sent you a little mess, or I guess, yeah, we'll exchange information, but yeah, I got a little live chess account, and chess.com is up and running too, so if you want to play a game, we'll make it happen. Um, so from the moment you're born, we register the habit starts, this clinging to pleasure and avoiding pain. Ooh, little snake. Let's try to get this guy on film, huh? Will it switch around for me? Oh, you can kind of see his little tail. See it? I don't know. Anyway, sorry for the interruptions. This is a little different type of content because I've never really just walked around, so getting distracted as I do. As I do just sitting still in my room, I get distracted. So sorry, guys. Now, um, there's a difference between being in this habitual like thought uh, pattern or process where stimulation comes from our environment or from our mind being our thoughts. Though that stimulation is registered with our sensations, and those sensations are going to be either pleasure or pain. So based on the sensation, we start our behavior becomes sort of clinging or avoiding. So let's give an example. Ram Dass gave a great example that I like because it's just so like basic, but you have an ice cream cone and you start eating your ice cream cone and you're enjoying it and you're basically in bliss, doesn't get, an ice cream cone hot day. That's what life's all about as far as I'm concerned. Just kidding. But um then the ice cream cone slips away, you or is gone, you eat it. Then you start feeling like, what's the word? Like you need a glass of water. You're like, what's the word? Sorry, I don't know. But so that feeling passes, and you're like, now I need a glass of water. You have your water, and now you're kind of like bloated, and you're like, okay, now I need to take a walk. So you take a walk. Now I'm a little tired. Let's relax. Let's put on a show. You put on a show. So like based on the feeling you have, your behavior just follows suit. And um, or another example of sort of clinging onto the pleasure is like you're in a hot tub and it's nice and warm, but then you're like, well, let's turn on the jets. So the jets are going. And then you're like, you know what? Let's throw on some music too. Let's turn the lights down low. Let's light some incense. Let's add some, bubble bath to the water. Like you just keep trying to increase and like up, like it's like that game of keep up where you got like a beach ball and you're trying to keep it from touching the ground. It's like that's what you're doing with your sensations. You're just trying to like stay in this pleasure zone. But you don't, and like while all of that sounds good, the problem is when discomfort or pain forces itself onto you, we are so like it puts us right into suffering. Like we are so sensitive to it. And what meditation has done for me is it's helped me develop this sort of like pedestal that I can place my awareness on that is not so much in the current experience, watching it happen from one moment to the next, or not, or like at the mercy of what happens, at the mercy of my sensations, but rather I'm at this sort of slightly kind of like more objective place, just watching the sensations arise and pass. And part of the meditation technique that I do when I do more like long form, like hour-long meditations, is I try to stay very still. And the purpose of that is when we're driven to move, whether you're scratching an itch or you're so like the way that you're sitting is sore, you you're avoiding that pain, so you move. But what happens if you don't move and you just observe that pain or you don't scratch the itch? It sounds miserable, and it is sometimes miserable. But what I'm want to let you know is that you can get to this place where the pain doesn't cause that habitual reaction to happen, to immediately avoid the pain and cling to pleasure. You just observe it, and it's the perception of the pain that creates these sort of uncomfortable thoughts. Like this idea that we're just in this like shitty predicament that um like that becomes what we perceive our reality as, and our entire we start to feel like we're basically in hell, depending on the severity of the sensation or pain. So if you can develop this sort of awareness throughout your day, you will start to find yourself like midway through that habit just reacting to pain or pleasure, and you'll find that you were on autopilot. You weren't really aware of what you were doing, um, but just again at the mercy of your sensations. So it takes a lot of work, but it is a very like sort of life-changing realization to make that this habit pattern has been happening your entire life, like from the moment you were born, and it's the driving force behind like almost every motion you make a lot of the time. And you don't always have to listen to that voice or that influence. And it's an empowering feeling. You start to realize, like, yeah, wait, even if I am sort of suffering or in pain, I don't have to let that um, take control of me. And when you build that resistance to, I'm just gonna hop in my car here. Okay, sorry, those mosquitoes were. Whew. Um, basically, if you're still with me, I really appreciate it. Um, this place of objectivity is it is true freedom, really. The discomfort you start to register it completely differently, not as this signal that tells you that you're miserable and that something needs to change. Um, like right now, meaning like you need to get out of your current situation. Um, I'm not gonna start driving, just getting the AC on. Um, you start to like I'm a human registering sensations on my sensation radar, my sensors are experiencing pain in my human vessel. That's not like this existent it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a lot of the time that's just good information. um so when you touch a hot stove and you feel pain, that's like not going to teach you anything. But when I've given this example before, say I was feeling a little lonely for a while, and I had this experience at a coffee shop where the barista, she wrote my name on the cup without me giving her my name. So I just realized that she knew my name because I go there a lot and we have chatted from time to time. So it was this realization that me and what I had perceived sort of as a stranger were sort of on this first name basis, you could say. It brought this like really strong sensation of pleasure. And I realized, like, it taught me something. It was like, wow, like I am craving this type of connection, or I'm missing that type of connection. And it instead of just sort of like a previous version of myself would have kind of let that like fuel my ego a little bit and been like, oh, she knows me, and this is so not like I don't know exactly how to like approach the nature of like the original experience. But what I like just being like, oh wow, she knows my name, how great. um there's a I'll say this, sorry. There is so much to take away. Like this mind that we have, guys, it is beautiful. It is amazing what we're able to do with just a memory. Like our memories, they just live on inside of us, and we can revisit them at any point, depending, if they come up for us. and we can draw so many lessons. And um, rather than just keep rambling, I'm gonna head home. Maybe I'll make another video tonight. But but yeah, just that self-reflection, that ability we have to just think back, draw conclusions from our past experiences, and learn things about ourselves and the world. It's we're so fortunate. And I think what I'll do tonight is maybe just make a short video about some techniques or different activities you can do to incite that self-reflection. Um, but yeah, thanks for hearing me out while I just yapped away. But thanks for being here, guys. Really love you so much, and see you again soon. Bye.